Nigerian maritime stakeholders have raised concerns on the many cargoes that are currently trapped at the Apapa and Tin-Can Ports following persistent disruptions to online services of some commercial banks in Nigeria due to the upgrade of their electronic banking portals. Investigations confirm that many import units of containers have not been cleared because their clearance documents are still trapped in some banks due to ongoing network migration issues. Many jobs are stuck because the moment an agent captures a job in a bank, he cannot move the job to another bank. These concerns are made because of the looming congestion and hike in the cost of goods this may cause. And for more on this, we're joined by Adeyinka Bakari, President General, Nigeria Association of Air Freight Forwarders and Consolidators, to help understand these issues with clearance. Good evening. Glad to have you join me on the news.
Good evening. How are you today?
I'm doing fantastic. Thank you. Let me start by asking what your thoughts are regarding implication of these bank disruption on cargo clearance.
Okay, the implication, looking at the season we are getting to now, we are getting towards the Christmas season. We have a lot of cargoes at the ports. We have a lot of people to pick up their cargoes and all those stuff. And from the look of things and what we are experiencing now, there's going to be high cost of materials to a layman on the street, because before you could even capture and you make process of your payment that shouldn't take more than 2-3 hours before. It's not taking days, 7 days, 8 days, 10 days before you get. And the importers or the shipper have to pay demurrage. And whether we like it or not, that cost will come on an average man on the road, the streets of Nigeria. So it's a huge this thing. And there is congestion right now as we speak. The whole port is being congested because people could not pick their cargoes. Payments are not coming the way it is. So it's a big concern here.
Well, you talked about clearance taking up to 7 days, leading to increase in costs of goods. You know, what do you think, in your own opinion, can be done to help solve this issue?
Okay, like we've suggested before, the idea of having to open a form with a particular bank and you can't pay the duty in another bank is a big issue. I think because of this, what we are experiencing now, it shows that I can open for them with Zenith Bank and I pay with Union Bank and look at whatever means that is faster and is better for me to. It's not compulsory that I open a form with a particular bank and the payment of duty has to be from that bank. And I think that really needs to be looked into now that we are experiencing this, so that we could have a faster means of clearance at the ports.
Now, we understand, or we've seen reports that demurrage payments that cargo owners are required to pay can affect cost of goods as well as causing congestion. How more or less is this true?
It is like now, I have a fast track that I need to pick. Naturally, fast tracks shouldn't take me more than 72 hours to pick out of the port. But now it's the 8 days of the fast track. Then automatically I have to pay demurrage. If additional 4 days demurrage is a whole lot on, let me say, 10 or 20 boxes on the port, which runs into millions of naira. Automatically, the shipper is going to add that to part of his cost, and it's going to have an adverse effect on average Nigerians on the road. So the shipper is not going to burn that cost. It's going to really move it down to the cost of his importation and clearance from the port. So automatically goods, we could say, even if the rates are coming down, the goods are still very expensive in the market. And this is one of those causes.
Well, since stakeholders calling on government to introduce compensatory law on cargo delays, which they say it's not their fault, do you see this having any impact consequentially going forward?
You see, it has nothing to do with who is at fault here. It has something to do with who should be blamed and let's take for instance now, if the fault is from the freight forwarder, automatically you will see the shipper or the consignee coming to the freight forwarder and taking the blame on you, or probably taking the fault or the expenses back to you. But in this case, this fault is coming from the bank. Then they should be able to take that responsibility. They should be able to say, okay, we are compensating you. I have a payment that is going to take just 2 hours, and that payment is taking another 72 hours. 72 hours is a long time for us to process and make good use of the time. But here we are, the payment is hanging, the payment is not dropping, or you have this thing, it's a whole lot. So there should be a government system of customer service relation that you could complain to, and that complaint could be looked into, like Shippers Council could look into it and really ask the bank to compensate in these areas.
Well, indeed, we pray, we hope a lasting solution is found to delay in clearance of goods at our port. But thank you indeed for your time on the news. Adeyinka Bakare, President General, Nigerian Association of Air Freight Forwarders and Consolidators. Many thanks indeed.
Thank you very much.